Welcome, YouTube channel. Welcome, Team Bjorkman and hopeful Team Bjorkman family. I love this. So, did anybody have a 2018 that wasn't quite what they wanted? So that's everybody except for people that don't feel like raising their hand. So I'll be honest. Our 2018 didn't look exactly like we wanted it also. So it's okay to be upfront with yourself and admit that our 2018 could have been better. Did we go through a little bit of a market shift?
Yes.
No. Is that an excuse?
No.
Good. Very good, guys. So I put this class together because I truly, firmly believe that everybody, and we say it's the top 10 ways, but I think we have more like 15 different ways in this presentation to actually, if you just picked one of those things, you could double your production. And that's pretty powerful. So what I want to do is I want to focus on a couple things. Inside here, and then physically what we do and say. Because a lot of this stuff is mindset, and we're going to get into that first. So who am I? I'm Mike Bjorkman. I got in the business in 1991. That was a RE/MAX office, and that was the #1 office in our town, and that's why I went there. I figured if I was at the #1 production office, being around successful people would make me successful. Well, I found out pretty quick that office was awesome. At the time, RE/MAX was the only 100% office, and I was there for about 20 years. I went to the #2 agent at the company. I was in the top 1% in the nation, and during my time there, I was able to start doing over 100 transactions a year, and that was very important to me. In 2007, I started a property management company called SCV Leasing. Grew that property management company to 300 properties. In 2008, went to Keller Williams. That was the new latest and greatest new best thing. They had the profit sharing, right? And then they had at the same time, they welcomed our property management company, and they were letting us actually be the in-house property management company for a while. You can imagine when you have a property management company, all the agents within your office don't want to give you all their leads. So that didn't work out very well. But what I did find out was my passion for training during that time. What I experienced at that company was a lot of people that were training should not be training. So I finally got enough of that. I figured out that the profit sharing thing didn't work, and then I wanted to open up my own company. Has anybody here ever thought, man, I wonder what it would be like to open up my own brokerage? Right. So I did. I bought into HomeSmart franchise at the time. It was the very best thing going. There was not a better company, and still to this day, I feel that HomeSmart is the #2 company on the planet, right? But obviously, how do you guys feel when you wake up in the morning and you know you're not at the right company? Doesn't feel so good, right? So obviously, I was the broker of the company. We grew to almost 300 agents and 4 offices. Some of the jokes you hear are very true. The broker's the most broke. Basically what happened was we were a very small flat fee company, which was great for the agents, but not really good for the broker, right? It was really hard to make money. Without owning an escrow company, which we did, we would have never made any money at all. And then meanwhile, people were trying to recruit me to EXP, and I said, you know, take your Amway, your Herbalife company, get it away from me. I don't want nothing to do with that. I was very stubborn and hard-headed, and I wasn't very open-minded. So we built that company to 300 agents. Finally, I was kind of curious, and I was kind of worn out and beat up from babysitting 300 people. When it's not your license on the line and you have commission breath and you're hungry and you're willing to do anything for commission, sometimes, not you guys, sometimes agents are willing to do things that are kind of gray area, borderline. And what does that mean? Mike gets his license threatened. So congratulations, Mike. By owning the company, I was able to get myself into 9 lawsuits. And basically what happened is I started this company with all these people, and I spent all my time with people I shouldn't be, when in actuality, I should have been spending time with you guys, my team, right? These are the people that work by my side. They're our bread and butter. They're the people that I like to train to actually do what we say. Most agents come to a class like this, they shut their notes at the end of the day and then never do anything again with it. So I wanted to come back to train my team. I found out about EXP, fell to my knees in tears and said, how in the world do I get out of this company? I cannot possibly be proud of this company anymore because I know there's something better. Luckily, a good friend of mine was able to buy it. We went through a 4-month escrow, and here we are at EXP. Yay! So we get to start 2019 fresh. So Team Bjorkman we didn't meet our goals, and many of you already said you didn't meet your goals. So we want to talk about the things in my 28 years of experience, what I've done in the past to get to that 150, 200 home sales a year. In most marketplaces, that's a lot of money. In Southern California, if you guys are watching this in other places, that equates to well over $1 million in GCI, which is gross commission income, right? So anybody in here want to make over $1 million a year? It's a good feeling, right? I've had a pretty good lifestyle. My wife and family become very accustomed to it. Andy filming can tell you he's been all over the world. He's done some pretty cool stuff, and it's a great feeling. So I want to double Team Bjorkman's production next year, and these are the things I want our team and myself and my business partner Tammy to focus on. You guys ready to dive into that? Yeah. All right, why do I teach? There's a couple different reasons. Number one, if I have a wonderful team and I want them to be more successful, we got to train the team. But also I want to train agents all over the country, number one, because I love it. But number two, because I don't want people to go through the pain and misery that I did. I want them to go from here to here instead of going through all the bumps and bruises that I had to. So it's very powerful. And not only that, when I do get to speak around the world, around the country, I get to share with people the EXP story and my story and why we're at the company. Where does your business come from now? Blurt it out.
Referrals.
Referrals.
Social media.
Past clients. Ooh, I like that. Open houses, right. So most people, most agents will say past clients, sphere of influence, referrals. That's great. Here's the thing that's going to happen to us in our shifting market. You guys all agree the market's shifting right now, right? So what happens is we have tech companies. Would you agree we have Purple Bricks? We have Rex, we have Redfin, we have Open Door, we have all these places, auction.com, Zoom, all these places are designed to put you guys, the agents, out of business. Now that sucks, right? So basically what we're doing right now is we're tracking about 36 to 38% of all sales are going through those tech companies. So we're getting close to that 50% mark, right? So out of every 10 homes, they're selling 4 of them. What is that doing to you guys in our industry? Hurting it, right? So how are we going to overcome this? How are we going to do things bigger and better? So if we already had half of our sales taken away from us, how can we gain more market share? How can we do things that other agents can't or? Yes, we do things that other agents can or won't do. So now we need to do things, maybe they're back to basics, maybe they're more technology. We just need to do things that we didn't do in 2018, right? All right. Why are we here? We don't need to talk about that a whole lot, but can we have some fun? Can you guys like really open your mind and have a talk with yourself and just take everything I say lightly and then just let it absorb into your bodies and your minds? Because if we have an attitude of resistance right off the bat, because some of the stuff I'm going to say is going to make you mad, sad, uncomfortable, and you're going to say, that's not me, right? We had a talk with Jessica this morning, and did some of the stuff sink in?
Totally.
Like you said this morning, like, today is the day my life has changed. Like, and that was only a 30-minute talk, and I'm glad we had that talk. So let's just have fun with it. Feel free to make fun of me, each other, and ask questions, regardless how silly you might think they are. I want you guys to be very involved in our Facebook groups. These are the best Facebook groups that I'm aware of. The top left is Club Wealth. Club Wealth is a fantastic coaching platform, coaching organization or family that I'm very near and dear to. There's a lot of good agents and many coaches in that group that can help you guys. The nice thing about these Facebook groups is they're designed to keep all negativity out and only positive things in there. There may be some controversial discussions in there, but us as agents should know about them anyways. The next one is Next Level Realtors. That's on Facebook. That is my personal group that our close friends get to post in, and it's only things for training real estate agents. So if I see something good or interesting, I'm going to make sure I post in that group so you guys can all learn from it. Down here is Lab Coat Agents, about 90,000 agents across the country. By far the most powerful real estate network in the country. Tristan Ahamada and Nick Baldwin have done a very good job of bringing this platform and family to life. Don't miss LCA Live, coming up I think in May or something like that. Please look it up. And then this is Stark Social and Mike Bjorkman Social Media Training, our awesome Deanna Miller from Stark Social. We do every year a 10-week social media series, and I think we are about ready to relaunch the next one. So what we do is we go through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Feedly, Buffer, LinkedIn, everything that has to do with social media. What we really want to do is find out what you like and focus on that. Some people really like Twitter and make money off of it. Some people I know make tons of money off Pinterest. But some people like me, I don't know crap about Pinterest. So this social media series that Deanna and I do, we go every year and we just upgrade it and upgrade it. Because would you agree Facebook changes their ads all the time? Would you agree Pinterest looks a lot different than it did 3 years ago? LinkedIn is absolutely crazy compared to what it was. And I want to say something real quick about LinkedIn. Make sure you're paying very close attention to it, because in this shifting market, it's going to matter more than ever as far as asset managers, people that are going to be able to send you referrals. LinkedIn is a lot of corporate leadership that's on LinkedIn that they can't or don't want to go on Facebook. So take that seriously. That's it on Facebook groups. Podcasts, I love podcasts because they're free and they're from some of the best people in our industry and other industries wanting to share knowledge. There are people out there that have an agenda to sell other things, but if they don't deliver good, free, valuable content, they're not going to be able to sell their product. So they have the best of the best on here. And these were the top 5 that Lab Coat Agents wanted to talk about. GSD mode means get shit done. And that's an amazing podcast that you guys want to subscribe to. Brian Buffini, you guys talked about past clients, referrals. He's one of the guys that have been around forever, and he specializes in relationship building, not necessarily high-tech stuff, so I really like Brian Buffini's. On the far left, Real Estate Rockstars, Pat Hyben. Pat Hyben is a friend of mine that has actually interviewed me on his podcast before, but I listened to it. I think there's 500 to 700 podcasts interviewing the top agents from across the country. And the reason I like that is because they're in different markets. So people say, oh, that doesn't work here, that doesn't work there. And when you have thousands of minds across the country, this really makes a difference. These people are willing to share all their knowledge, all their information, and it's nice. Like this morning I was listening to one, I met a guy that specializes in multifamily investing. And I listened to it. And Tammy and I are about to start investing in rental property, right? And I'm listening to this podcast and I learned so much. So I went on that guy's podcast and I was able to learn even more. So this morning, instead of at the gym listening to crazy music while I worked out, I was able to learn, and I was able to focus on something that could make or break our future. There's a few things I learned that were detrimental to our future. So I was thankful this morning, attitude of gratitude for that podcast. Real estate marketing dude, Mike Cuevas, a very close friend of ours. He specializes in relationship and video marketing. And if you guys haven't realized, we're in a video revolution, and that's actually one of the top 10 things to double your production next year. And then the bottom right is our podcast, Mike Bjorkman. That's Real Estate Marketing Show. That's just real, raw training. All the things that I've learned over all my years in this industry, I just lay it all out on the line. There's nothing to be sold in it. It's just good information and good knowledge that can absolutely change somebody's career. So podcasts, make sure we subscribe to those. And of course, there's hundreds of others. Now, Mike Bjorkman Training is our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel has about 90 videos on it. Most of it is just like this, recorded in this scenario, where I'm sharing with the agents, trying to build the company, right? So you can go through that list, and there's just really good things for sell-by owners, open houses, NLP. Anything you could dream of that you're going to encounter in real estate is pretty much on this YouTube channel. So I would subscribe to that. So every time we launch a new YouTube, you're going to get notified, and you could watch that, and they're usually about an hour long. All right, so this was the slide that wasn't supposed to be in here, but I left it in here because it worked out the other day when we did this. These are some of the things we're going to be talking about today. And if you see this, we go through these, and there's about 13 on here, but after I counted, there's about 15 things that we're going to talk about. So as we go through these slides, when you're taking notes, write down these things and say, okay, the 7 F's, that's one thing. Mindset, that's another thing. Schedule, that's another thing. And we'll go through those quickly, but let's go. So the 7 F's is what we talk about all the time. And for those of you on my team, you get to hear about it all the time. But for those of you watching, you might not have paid attention to it a whole lot. This is something that's very near and dear to me, because when I first learned about this, it actually changed my life. It saved my marriage. It saved my family. It did a lot of good things for me. So I want to go through them really quick. Faith. If we don't have something to believe in, we have nothing to live for, and we don't believe, and your life feels very empty. So I don't care what religion you are, if you worship a rock or a Maserati or a person or a God, choose whatever your faith is and make sure you pay attention to it, make sure you believe in it, and make sure you talk to it within your heart, body, and mind and soul. Family. Would everybody agree in this room, kind of one of your whys is your family? Yes. Whether it's a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, it doesn't matter, but family is very important. And I don't know why, but the human race just loves family, and especially their siblings. Friends. I learned pretty quickly, if I spend too much time with my family, they drive me insane. When I get together with my friends, I get to have fun, I get to build relationships, we get to experience life together. So I think friends are really important. As important as family, just different, right? We're not blood related, and we like to have fun and do things together. Fitness is very important, right? Fitness not only gives you energy. A good mentor, Daniel Penley, when I was very young, 19 years old, told me, you must give energy to receive it. And I always remember that, and I always think about that when I'm in a lull, when I don't feel good. If I start moving, things start to happen, right? Has any one of you ever been to the gym and felt like crap afterwards? No. And I love watching people come from the gym. They're like, they could be in the worst shape of their life, and they could be just terrible at everything they do, and they get back from the gym and they're like on Facebook Live, hey guys, I'm a Facebook exercise guru now, and they just feel so good and they want to share with everybody. You have energy all day long. So we've proven that over and over. It takes energy to receive it. If you're just blah, you're going to be blah, and that's going to transfer to your clients. And how many clients want to list with a blah person? None. And if you're sick, can you work? How are you going to double your production if you're sick? You can't. You lay in bed. You just sit there and blah. I threw my back out a couple of weeks ago, and I was absolutely paralyzed for a week in bed, and I was the most non-productive I've ever been in my career. Terrible feeling. Finances. Finances is really big. If I would have practiced finances, these 7 F's, when I first got in the business, I would not be here today. I would own multiple islands, multiple jets, helicopters, and yachts. I mean, you guys wouldn't even know who I am. Maybe because I probably would have started something like Google or something like that. But the reality is you, your spouse, significant other, family, at least once a week have to sit down and go over finances. What are we going to do with this commission check? What are we going to do with your paycheck? How much of it are we going to save? Are we saving for a rental property, apartment building, a strip mall? Are we saving for cars? If you don't work on your finances all the time, they slip away. Have you ever noticed that? We're a really good example of that. Even this morning, Lindsay said, hey, I don't think we paid our internet bill, and now our internet's off. Can you be productive without internet in today's market? No. Luckily, we found out that wasn't the problem, but finances are a big deal. If I would have sat down with my family over the years and said, we're going to take these 2 commission checks and buy a rental property, and then the next 2 and the next 2, our lives would be much different today. But no, we went crazy and spent it on all different kinds of stuff and didn't save, especially for taxes and whatnot. So you got to work on your finances all the time. Future business. Would you guys agree that commissions are going down a little bit? Right? When I got in the business, commissions 6-7% were totally standard. And as a broker of 300 people at a company, what I found out, less than 5% is today's norm. And that's not going to make us more money, right? If commissions are being compressed and tech companies are taking away our business, and we don't want to work in this business the rest of our lives, what the hell do we need to do? We need to diversify. So future business is very important. Future business could be owning apartment buildings. It could be owning a different company outside of real estate. There's so many things you could do. What in the business can I do to make more money? I could start a credit cleanup company. I could start a maid service. Doesn't matter. But what I do know from going through the recession, 2008, 9, 10, you probably want to diversify and work on future businesses. Does that make sense? Okay. Fun. We're not in this business or on this planet to not have fun. Would you agree? If we do all 6 of those other things, don't you think we deserve fun?
Yes.
If you never had fun, what would you do? There was a really good movie about it, The Shining, remember? All work, no play, makes Johnny a bad boy or something like that. Remember that growing up? Scary movie? And I always think about that. Sometimes I need to have fun. So what this is balance. If any one of these things is out of balance, can you double your production in 2019? If your spouse is mad at you, if you think you're going to hell, if your friends hate you, if your fitness, if you're in the hospital, if you have no money, if you have no future plans, things to look forward to, and never have any fun, do you feel you can double your production? Just doesn't work, does it? All right, so I wanted to do a little exercise. Can I borrow somebody's calendar real quick? Don't know why I don't have one. So I hate these calendars. These are paper. Most of you know I don't like paper. But what's nice about this, and thank you to Gene Bleeker from First American for bringing these can sit anywhere, on your refrigerator, on your desk, on your nightstand, doesn't matter. But what's cool about the 7 F's, there's 7 days in a week, right? And then we have all these weeks. So what I challenge and urge you to do, and this is not an alone project, this is with your family, your life partner, your dogs, your cats, whoever you do things with, this has to be a group exercise. So Sunday, what might we do on Sunday? Could that be a day for faith, right, maybe? And then Monday, what would Monday be? Maybe that's the day where we come home from work and we discuss our finances. How are we going to prepare for our future? And maybe Tuesday we go, fun, let's go to the movies as a family. Or a date night or something like that. And what's the next night? And so on and so forth. Maybe Friday you work on future business, and maybe Saturday night's built for fun, right? Does anybody ever like to have fun on Saturdays? Yeah. Me too. If you follow this for 90 days, you will create a pattern and a lifestyle change for your family. I've done this for years now, and our balance is pretty darn good. Since I started doing this, I've opened other companies, I've diversified, I've done my finances, I've gotten my life in order. I see my friends, I go on vacation, I spend time with my family. All of these things are pretty darn good right now, but I have to be cognizant about it, because sometimes, think about it right now, do you guys have any friends that don't like you because you haven't called them in a while? Or they say, where you been? Or maybe somebody, do you know in the back of your mind, you owe your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, or maybe your cousin a call, and you've been so busy and you just feel a little weird inside, like I really should call them. But if you write things down and you start thinking about it, you can do that. And then what's really good is you get good at it. So you can say, Sunday, not only are we going to go to church, we're going to go on a hike, that's our fitness, then we're going to go have fun at a barbecue, and you can start filling more in. And then your life becomes more and more balanced. But I challenge you to at least start with one thing a day. And what's really cool, there's 7 days for 7 things. Do you guys think you can do that? Mm-hmm. Yeah? And I would encourage you to just take pictures of these and send them to me. And let's kind of work as a team together and say, I'm going to have a balanced lifestyle, because without this, you're not going to double your production. Are you guys like that? All right. Mindset. So would we agree if we're in the wrong mindset, are we going to fail? Yeah. If you go to a listing appointment and all you're doing is thinking about how much you owe in taxes, or your spouse is mad at you, or you go, well, I didn't get the last 3 listings, why would I get this one? Doesn't that kind of suck? So everything in this planet is mindset, and I've learned a lot about real estate. So if you want to double your production, you got to really dig deep, and you got to say, how far am I willing to go? What am I willing to do? Am I willing to at least try what Mike said? Am I willing to do the 5 F's challenge? Am I really willing to do that? Am I willing to join a gym? Am I willing to go vegan? What are you willing to do to get your crap together so you can really do it? And I start really getting deep in this. We always talk about sports people. Are you willing to practice like a professional? We think of Tiger Woods and Kobe and those types of things. It's cliche because we've all been to seminars and heard it, but is it true? Does Tiger spend a couple hours after every match and go do that same putt that he lost over and over and over? Does he miss the next time? Probably not. Does Tiger have more money than us? Yes. Right? So if you practice like a professional, you're gonna make more money than all the realtors around you, because 99% of realtors don't practice what they should. So practice, 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 and we'll go into it more, and I'll share some of my secrets with you. Are you willing to give up the Sunday barbecue? Now, there's family, friends, faith, fit, all the 7 F's, but you're gonna have to give some stuff up. And I've coached agents all over the place that say, I go, what consumes your life? And the biggest one I remember was this girl that was really into horses. She had to feed these stupid things every morning. She had to ride them every day. She had to go check on them every day. She had to go spend every night with them, every weekend. And I said, are you serious about taking your business to the next level? I go, what are we gonna do about these horses? Because these horses consume your whole life. What are you willing to give up? Right? There's cars, there's boats, people have hobbies, people have these infatuations with things. You're gonna have to give some stuff up in order to double your production next year. It's just the way it is. So think about some of the things in your life that you can tweak, twist, change. For instance, in that particular case, we hired somebody to go feed those horses. We hired teenagers to ride them in the afternoons. She would not go on one day on the weekend, and her family and her daughters would go on a different day. So it opened up 10, 20 hours a week that she was consuming her life with. And then of course she doubled her business when she spent a little more time with the horses. That's just one example, but it's a very real one. Would you agree that's real? How you could see yourself being so consumed by certain things? Let's see, taking risks is going to be necessary. And I always go back to when I was brand new in the business, right? I took big risks. I would pay for a full page ad in our newspaper because I believed that if I got enough phone calls, I practiced enough that I can convert them into buyers and sellers. Now, I didn't have the money, but when I did have the money, I took the money and I would spend that on my advertising before I paid my rent. Is that a risk? A little bit risky, right? Now, I couldn't afford anything. My rent back then was about $250 if I remember right. But my car payment, my 1990 Acura Legend, it was awesome. Chrome wheels, and it had gold package. I was like the only guy in town except for one guy that had the gold package on this car. And I remember like $475.63 was my payment, double my rent. I would make my car payment before my rent because I believed, looking around at the time, all the successful agents drove expensive cars. So I always was told, fake it till you make it, right? I went as far as to buy the Motorola flip phone. Remember the gray ones when they first came out? The flexi beanie antennas that I chewed on until it broke all the time? But I couldn't afford to hook it up. So I was always on it. You look at all pictures of me back in the day, I'd be like, with the cell phone. I would purposely do that because I wanted to look successful. Success breeds success, I believed, which I found out later was true. But then when it came time to hook it up, I couldn't afford it. It was back then, I think it was like a couple bucks a minute. And I could not afford that, but if I knew a homeowner would page me and say, hey, I want to put my home on the market, I'd call them right away with that cell phone. I used that technology that I had to be successful. I couldn't afford it. The bill came, I remember the first bill was like 700 bucks. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but remember my car payment was less than 500. My rent was less than 300, and then I had a $700 phone bill. Imagine how much that was in today's time. It was thousands of dollars. But I didn't care because I'd be all, yeah, this is Mike Bjorkman, I'm on my cell phone. Can I help you? Well, you want to sell your house? Absolutely, I'll be right over. You know, like that kind of stuff. And that's what really made the difference. And I was able to be on, you know, like they say, Zillow leads, you got to call within 30 seconds. I was that guy. Because back in the day, you'd go about your business, you'd come home from work, and you'd hit play on your answering machine and wait for somebody to say, beep, hi, this is Mr. Smith, I'm on Cherry Street, I'd like to sell. But they could have left that message in the morning. I didn't do that. I had a pager, I had a cell phone, I was hustling. Get it? Taking risks? All right, you need to be coachable. I had lots of coaches, Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, all these other guys that I don't even remember. And I remember back in the time, I was somewhat coachable, but I remember more not being coachable. I said, I'm not willing to do that. I'm too good for that. I don't think that's gonna work. You know, and I remember back in the day, Mike Ferry told me, he said, real estate agents will never have a use for a website. So what did I go? I go, I don't know about that. But I wasn't coachable to the point where I just said, I told him, I said, no, I think a website's good, right? I own SantaClaritaRealEstate.com. There was a time where that was worth $500,000. Today, because of websites and what's happened, it's worth $2,600. But there was a time where I turned almost $500,000 down for the website domain because I thought it'd be $1 million by the time I retired. But anyways, be coachable. If somebody says, try this, try that exercise, just the family bonding alone when you do that exercise is pretty special. It's pretty cool. But if you're like, no, I don't need that, it's a good idea, maybe it's good for her, maybe it's good for him, but it's not for me, that's the kind of shit that's gonna screw up your mind for the rest of your life. Are you willing to change your ways? That's pretty much the same thing, all that stuff put together. Are you willing to put you and your family first? This one is a big deal. When I decided to put me and my family first, things happened. Things changed. We talked about Jessica today, and I don't mean to pick on you, but we had a pretty good coaching session this morning. Jessica came to me this morning, and you're not on camera, so I'm just, it's fine. She says, Mike, I have a problem when people come into an open house and they say I'm working with another agent. Or when I'm door knocking, they say, oh, I have a friend in the business. And I said, Jessica, you can't have that attitude. And she goes, well, I don't know what to say. I said, let's go over the scripts and dialogues. And we role played that. Now you have some confidence, right? So, but what I learned is when somebody comes into an open house and says, hey, nice to meet you, just so you know, I'm working with another agent. I don't just say, oh, okay, lucky for that agent. I think of my family, right? I think of Andy when he was a little kid. I always pictured his face because I was just crazy party guy, and all of a sudden within weeks I had a son. I was like, holy shit, I got a son. And I'd picture his face, and my number one goal at the time was I wanted to move from the house I was in because I wanted to teach him how to ride a bicycle on a cul-de-sac. So that's the shit I chose. You would have sold more homes this year, right? With a couple other things we talked about, you could double your business next year, right? Just as one thing, we could double our business next year. All right. Mindset still. Okay. This gets pretty powerful too, and this gets pretty deep with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. Jessica, did we talk about this too? Okay, it's Jessica's day. So be honest with yourself. Sometimes we go out and work really hard, right? And then we come home, we tell our spouse, family, I worked so hard today. And then you think about it. Did I talk to 50 people today? No. Did I do everything that was on my checklist today? No. Do you have the right to say you worked hard today? No. But you still kind of like Have you ever, when you remember when you're little, and Andy's really good at this, you lie so much about something you start believing it yourself? Well, as adults we do that too, like for reals. And we mess with our own heads. And now we start to believe that we're exhausted, stressed out, and we deserve all this crap we don't deserve. So it's a really hard thing to come to terms with, but you have to do it. Be transparent. Now when I say be transparent with everybody, and especially your family. Because if you're gonna make some changes in your lifestyle, don't you think your family's gonna notice it? They're gonna be like, what's going on? I thought we used to go to the park every Sunday. Well, not now. Now it's every other Sunday because Dad's actually going to do an open house. So you have to be transparent with your clients. You have to be transparent with your family, your friends. You got to just be, look, I'm changing things. I want to double my production in 2019. I'm going to try these things. I'm going to do some things differently, and I'm going to involve you guys. You're not going to see me every Tuesday night and every Wednesday night and Thursday night until 9 p.m. That's just it, because I'm totally committed to doing this, that, and the other. So if you tell everybody what you're doing, that's cool. Be transparent with your homeowners. First, the best thing I ever learned, I can't remember, I think it was Mike Ferry who taught this to me. When somebody calls and you have prospecting from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, and somebody says, I want to put my house on the market at 2 to 3, best thing I ever learned. Mr. Smith, I'm booked from 2 to 3. Would 3:30 be okay? I could come over then. And people look at me and say, what, are you nuts? And then when I'd get there, I would actually have a script that said, I'm sorry I couldn't come at the time you wanted me to. That's the time of the day where I prospect. I'm looking for buyers and sellers. And maybe, just maybe tomorrow or maybe today, I found a buyer for your home by doing that. You see, Mr. Smith, I do things by being an active agent, not a passive agent. I aggressively go out and look for homes and market homes for buyers and sellers. Isn't that the kind of agent you like to list with? And they say yes. So it's okay to be transparent with people. Be accountable. This is so big. We talk about holding each other accountable. Accountability is ridiculous, but you got to do it with your son, your daughter, your spouse, your grandma, your grandpa, people that you want to be accountable. I'm really proud of this team right now being accountable with each other, going over our videos and our training, and actually discussing it and talking about it. That's powerful. If you guys hold yourself accountable and be held accountable and hold yourself accountable, things really happen. My favorite story with this is when I first started coaching, and I don't even remember who the coach was, they always said, you got to punish yourself if you don't do what you said. Now I know to sell 100 homes a year, which was always my goal, I had to talk to 50 people a day. And then I even saw it back there, we have pennies in a jar. Another old Mike Ferry trick. And I'd put pennies in the jar. And sometimes life gets away, there'd be 32 pennies in there. I'd go, punish yourself. Hold yourself accountable. Tomorrow, there's going to be not only 50, but another 24 or whatever adds up to that 50. So I had to punish myself. If I had plans to go motorcycle riding on Saturday and I didn't do what I was supposed to do on Friday, punish myself, not allowed to motorcycle ride until I talk to those 50 people. Make up for it. Hold yourself accountable. Sometimes your spouse or your significant other or your family won't, right? It's okay, Mom, do that on Monday. Let's go to the park today. Nope, got to hold myself accountable because sometimes our family's not really good at that. Be willing to compete all out. This goes back to the open house thing. You need to have the lion inside of you. You cannot, and I told this story the other day, Tammy, you'd be proud of me. I told her about that piece of crap guy that I hated up there in Fair Oaks, and you know, and for a lot of you that don't know, I've been in this business a long time, I'm burnt out, and Tammy was willing to compete all out. I was kicking her under the table saying, let's just get out of here. I don't even want this listing, I don't want to deal with this guy. And she actually went, hell no. Pulled out the listing agreement and basically forced the guy to sign it, and I'm just sitting there going, holy crap. And after we're done, she's like, do you remember I have a daughter at a very expensive college that the payment's coming up? And I'm like, that's competing all out, right? He told us several times he was thinking about listing with another agent, and she's like, no. So that's when I knew, I'm like, this girl's competing all out. And that's where we need to be. You don't take no for an answer. You don't say, oh, well, Jessica is such a good agent, why don't you go ahead and list with her? No, you fight till the finish line. Because a $10,000 paycheck is a lot better than a no $1,000 paycheck. Like, dig in your pocket right now. Is there 10 grand in there? No. But could there be? If you would have made little different subtle changes in the last couple of months, could there have been 10 grand in cash in this pocket? Right? Could you have bought that Christmas present for somebody in your life that you really truly wanted to? But now you're like, in 2019, I'm going to buy that because I'm going to double my production. But you could have done it this year. And that's why we're talking about this. Is everybody with me so far? You okay? You liking this? All right. realestatemarketingshow.com, episode 7 is on mindset. I think it's called the Quantum Leap. And for whatever reason this week it's come up 20, 30 times by now. And if you're watching this and if you guys are sitting here, if you haven't listened to it, listen to it, because it's an hour long about me babbling about how I truly changed my mindset. All right, our daily schedule as a real estate agent. Where are we at here? So 2 hours a day of prospecting, right? We got to do it. Prospecting is what's going to make the difference. 2 hours a day of previewing property. Previewing property is different because we compete with other listing agents when we go to listings. If that seller knows the market better than us, are they going to list with us? Nope. If the agent there before us knows the market better than us, are they going to list with us? Nope. If a buyer knows that they know the market better than you, are they going to buy a home from you? Nope. You need to be previewing property all day long. You have to know your inventory. You have to know what you're doing. Look at every single home, know every single home. And here's the icing on the cake, or the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. When I started previewing property, I learned real quick, back in the day when I used to show property when I got in the market, it was okay to show 10 to 15 homes a day. In today's market, even though it's shifting, we still only have like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 because our inventory is low. But when we double our inventory like we're supposed to, think about showing property Saturday, Sunday, next week. Saturday, Sunday, next week. Saturday, Sunday. Finally, after almost a month of working with people, you get them into escrow, right? If you know your inventory by previewing, you have a very nice buyer consultation, which is on our YouTube channel, and you can say, here's what's happening, this is what I do, this is how I work, this is what you're looking for, boom, boom, boom. I saw all 3 of those houses last week, and you get them into escrow day 1. It's a lot better than working with a buyer for a month. I promise you, I've done this hundreds of times. And when I did the right thing and previewed, the buyers were a lot easier to work with. All right, self-help. Do we get beat up in this business? All the time, all day, every day. It beats us down to the ground to where we almost want to get out of the business. Let's do it, be honest. Has anybody in here ever thought about getting out of the business? Everybody, I love it. Me too, right? And like, sometimes I'm still looking for ways. But the reality is, if I do self-help every day, something to pump me up, something to motivate me, something to make my body, my mind, my soul better, I feel good. And no matter what happens, like I was telling Jessica, told you this morning, the dude that has us in a lawsuit got me down this morning. I had to shake it off, and change my attitude, right? But if it wasn't for the self-help I did, I might have dragged that through the mud and me with it a little bit longer. But I didn't let that happen because I motivated myself today. Skill set. Who believes we should be in skill set? We're all here right now to learn, right? Skill set's crucial. So let's say you prospect for 2 hours. Let's say you do that open house. But when you knock on the door and you just say, hi, do you want to sell your house someday? Slam. You could prospect your butt off. Again, Jessica, man, you were made for this video today. We were talking today how I could get into our database of leads. By the way, we have 10,000 or more in there. So if you ever wanted to join a team that has a lot of leads, come on. But anyways, if I picked up the phone, because of my years and years of skill set training, I can convert 1 out of 10 people I talk to. The average right now is about 1 out of 40, 1 out of 30, something like that. Because of my skill set, I can convert. So there's people around me all the time that say, I call and call and call, and I can't convert. These leads suck. No, we do not have a lead problem. We have a lead conversion problem. And if we truly practiced our skill set an hour a day, we don't have that problem anymore. So get on it. File check or lead follow-up. Follow-up is not prospecting, right? Following up is talking to leads you got yesterday. So let's say we have 10 leads. And every day we thought we were prospecting by calling these 10 leads. Finally, we sell all 10 and now we have nothing, right? Our pipeline's empty. So follow-up is talking to leads we've already got. Prospecting is new people to follow up with tomorrow. It only takes an hour to do for the most part, unless you're getting up into the 100 sales a year time. Then you get to do appointments, finally, right? So here's our perfect daily schedule. We stole it from Club Wealth, our great friends over there. I'm not an analytical guy. You cannot micromanage me down to, you wake up at 6 a.m., you poop at 6:10, you eat breakfast at 6:20. I'm not that guy. So what I did find out over all these years is if I follow that schedule, I'll still sell 100 homes, I'll talk to 50 people, and I'll make $1 million a year. Is that pretty simple? You guys like it when things are simplified? I do too. All right, so here's a biggie, and this is my thing that I will do the be honest and say, This is something I've struggled with for a very long time. I'll read it out loud. We often talk about not having enough time. Rather than focusing on that and complaining to yourself or others about not enough time, think about what you do have enough time for. Start talking or thinking about that instead. Do we all say I don't have time for that?
Yep.
Who's seen a movie in the last 30 days? Watched TV in the last 30 days? Right? We have time for anything we want in this business. I try like hell to stop myself, and I catch myself all the time. Sometimes it actually comes out, I don't have time for that. I have time for whatever I want to make time for. Anything I want to make time for. Julie, I'm so glad you're sitting in this class. Remember last year when we were in Maui? That trip right there was a trip that I said I don't have time to do. Did I tell you the story when we were there? Okay, so we were invited to go, and I was all excited to go, and it was our friend's wedding. Do you remember that? I had to go to a wedding for a day or so in between that. And I told that person I don't have time to go to Maui. And I started thinking about it because I just got done with the time management class with this slide in it. And I said, that is crazy. I have time. This is a friend of mine getting married. How could I just say to her that I don't have time to go to her wedding in one of the most beautiful places on earth? And I told my wife, I said, drop everything, clear our schedule, we're going to Maui. We went for 7 days. Did we have fun?
Awesome.
So remember this, you guys. Thoughts become words, I don't have time, become actions. Now I didn't go to Hawaii, right? Create habits. Now I'm a habitual idiot. Nobody wants to be around me. I never have time for them. Build your character. That's who you are. Now I'm the I don't have time guy, and that creates your destiny. Now you're like the Christmas Scrooge. Nobody wants to be around you. You have no time. You have no fun. Your wife or spouse divorces you, leaves you because you don't have any fun and you don't have time for anything. And this turns into a mess. Remember you guys, thoughts become things. So think about that. When somebody says, hey, would you like to go to dinner with me? Don't say, I don't have time. Say, you know what? I have an appointment at 6 o'clock. How about 7? And since I started this practice, my life has changed. I've made time for a lot of things. I make time for things that I want to do. If I don't want to do it with somebody I don't want to do, then it's okay to say, I don't have time. Right? That's the time I'll give you permission to say it. Only like one of you got that. Who's this? Prospector. Right? You guys are prospectors. So if this guy does not prospect, back in the gold rush days, what happens to him? He dies, he starves, he just has to go home, gets to get a new job, right? So we as prospectors, if we don't prospect for 2 hours a day, it's not as severe. We might not be homeless and die in the cold like this guy, but it's close, right? Because sometimes when I haven't prospected and I don't have the paychecks coming in my pipeline, I feel like that sometimes. I'm freezing, I can't afford to do what I want, it's not good. This is the thing, that the number one thing the agents say. I didn't have time today to prospect. You guys ever say that? I do all the time. Is it true? No. Tammy is learning this right now. She said to me the other day, I have to do blank and make time for it. Did you say, nothing in my life is going to change because I'm taking this time to do that? Remember that conversation we had? And I said, exactly. Life doesn't end because if you have a super pissed off client and something's going to fall out of escrow, if it went an hour or two, would it make a difference? No, not at all. So don't say you don't have time to prospect. That's BS. Fear. Fear, fear, fear. Big reason. I hate, to this day, picking up the phone to prospect. When I was new in the business, we had door knocking, right? I would drive in circles for 30 minutes in the neighborhood to pick the exact house that was the right house to door knock at. And I thought it was luck, and I talked myself into this. It was just fear I was afraid to. And then I'd start knocking on doors. Before you know it, 30 days later, I'm the best door knocker in the world. It's the fears, you overcome that fear pretty quickly. And if you don't, you're gonna die. You're gonna be the guy that has to go home. Nobody wants to be the Walmart greeter, I'm telling you. Unless you're totally mindset for that and you're old and you have millions in the bank, nobody wants to do that. You're too cool. Now, a lot of the people I talk to, they're like, dude, no way. People call me. Really? I'm a guy that prospects, right? Why don't we compare bank accounts? That's how you start that conversation when somebody says, oh no, people call me, because it's BS. We are salespeople. There's not enough people around us immediately that want to just fall in our lap. We still have to reach out. So the people that prospect, and I can name a bunch of names, I don't need to, but you can think of the people around here that you know who prospect, they have a lot more money in their bank accounts than a lot of people. Can we break this down? We don't need to break that down right now as we don't have enough time. Prospecting versus follow-up. You guys get the difference between prospecting versus follow-up. I actually don't need the slides. Sorry for you guys watching the YouTube. The only thing I want to say is let's use 50 for this class. When I say 50 for this class, 50 sales a year. So 2 hours a day of each is normal. So if you have thousands of leads that you've prospected for, 2 hours of prospecting, 2 hours a day of follow-up is okay. You just got to remember to have staff to do the stuff that you can't do, right? So that's the difference on that one. All right, let's talk about real coaching for free. When you're on our team, whether it's Team Bjorkman or on our team at EXP, David Knox Coaching is awesome. This is a subscription-based website that we have, that I pay a lot of money for, and we all have that. And this is what I love about this, because when we talk about an hour a day of skill set, a lot of people don't realize or remember we have this. All these things over here, what is that? 10-week listing course. Awesome. Prospecting, marketing, listings, luxury real estate, pricing, buyers. Doesn't matter what. Any of these things you click on, it actually has. Oh, here's the series, the support series, the mentor series, Real Estate Live. I mean, all these different series. There's so much good, valuable training in here from people and agents that have been doing this a lot longer than us, that are a lot more successful than us. We have this. Accountability, you want to talk about accountability? We have classes, the new listing agent fast start, agent multi-week training, plan to get listings now. We have all these different classes. Depending on where you're at in your career, we can set you up for that. And what's cool about that is guess who gets the information? I can say, Charlene, I see you've watched 3 out of the 20 videos, what's up? And I can see how you're progressing and we can talk. What's also cool about all these classes is they have a form that you can print out that flows with the class, kind of like the important parts, and then it gives you your homework. So you can say, okay, you watched the video, now go try this, right? So you actually have a built-in coach all the time. And there's, I mean, when I first started, I think there was 300 or 400 videos, now it's got to be way higher. It even has recruiting, it's got, like I said, luxury real estate, it's got the best training there is. Now those of you that are with EXP, you're lucky, because we have over 20, 30 hours a week in our enterprise, in our world of training. So this is live training from people that are doing it a lot more than us, right? The other day we saw iConversations, there's masterminding, there was social media, there was SEO, there was team building, the KV Core platform. There's just all these classes all day, every day. And we're so lucky to be a part of a company where we get actual coaching and actual training. Some companies train once a week. Some companies are very proud that they have 7 classes a week. Sometimes we have 10 classes a day. So we're very, very lucky. So when we say we're going to train like a professional, are we starting to see that we're lucky and we have a lot of training around here? We already went through the podcast, we went through the YouTube channel, we went through the David Knox, now we have EXP training. Do we have any reason to suck at this business?
No.
All right, let's move on. Scripts and dialogues. When I say scripts and dialogues, some of the things that I remember most in this world is being, how do I say this without sound braggy, but people in our industry think that I'm the master at scripts and dialogues. And that's because I realistically practiced an hour a day my entire career, my skill set, right? Even in our EXP, I mean, not only do we have all this other training, build a team, tips, working with sellers, open house app through KV Core, video marketing, but right here, scripts and dialogues. How lucky are we as EXP agents? So if you don't learn from me, you don't learn from the podcast, now it's pre-recorded training. Again, do we have any reason to suck in this business?
No.
Never. All right, let's move on. Our presentations, as our market shifts, are going to be a lot different. Who said it? Brent Gove said, we've all been running around the last few years like drunken sailors, just making tons of money, throwing our gold around. This is very true. When the market shifts, if you're a homeowner worried about how long your home's going to sit on the market, how many price reductions are you going to do, does the agent you choose matter?
Yes.
Big time. You're going to go against 5, 6 agents, not 1 or 2 like we're accustomed to. So your presentation and the ability to present that is going to be everything. People in our industry, trainers and coaches, say it's okay to have a 50 to 60% success rate at listings. I call BS. I've always had a 90% or better because I've always practiced my presentation as part of my skill set, and I've always had a really nice one. Now, this particular presentation is on our website, and we're starting to perfect our presentations right now because we want to double our production in 2019. So they can go to our website live at any time and just flip through these boards. Have you ever seen these on what do you call them, internet magazines or whatever? So we also have the really nice printed books. It talks about our team. It goes over things that we do that other agents can't or right. So we have to know how to present this. We have to know statistics. We have to know everything. This isn't just a pretty book, because this is something we need to present over and over and over. And if we don't know this presentation, if maybe one or two things in here impresses that seller and they choose us and we have that 10 grand in our pocket, does that matter? If somebody comes in behind us and we don't have high quality presentations, is that going to matter? They're going to take the listing from us. So the ability to present with your scripts and dialogues and presentation materials, if only you did this in 2019, I guarantee you will double your production. Can you guys think of a buyer in 2018 that you might have lost to another agent? Or maybe a buyer that went away and you weren't sure why? I'll tell you why. Because another agent that previewed property that had a buyer presentation like that presented it well and showed him 21-point presentation on what they do all day, every day to get a house for that particular person, that's who took your buyer. I promise you. I've heard it over and over and over again. Makes sense, right? Somebody more prepared, yeah? If you went to a brain surgeon and they didn't go to any school and they didn't have a nice office and they drove a Yugo, would you be impressed and would you probably have let them cut your brain open, your skull open? No. So these are the things that are going to matter in 2019. Luckily, on our team, whether Team Bjorkman or EXP, we have the EXP version of Maxa. Most agents through LabCode have to pay $100 a month for this. Anybody on our EXP team, organization, or Team Bjorkman get it for free. So you get to open up the program and pick out the seller's template or the buyer presentation, and you get to start typing your own information. Customize it daily, monthly, weekly, it doesn't matter. These are saved as PDFs. You can email to your clients along with the letter. Make sure you see this, put it on your website, drop it off in your pre-listing packages. By the way, that are going to matter a lot. And all your stuff is already in there. Your logo, your name, your phone number, the EXP logos, it's all there for you. There's never been a time in history where technology is so easy to present first world-class presentation material. We have it at our fingertips. Is there any reason for us to suck at this business?
No.
All right. With that, marketing for sales sites, property brochures, sign-in sheets for open houses, social media, banners, thank you cards, letterheads, promotional flyers, open house, office social media, open house signs, listing presentations. You guys, this is the nicest presentation material I've ever seen in my industry, and it's free to all of you and all of you watching this video. That's pretty cool, right? So we have no reason not to do really cool stuff. Along with that, there's two videos that are my favorite. There's a video on our YouTube channel that's called Branding. It takes you through my story. When I started at RE/MAX, when I started Team Bjorkman, when I started SCV Leasing, when I started at KW, and then I moved to HomeSmart. I had to brand HomeSmart. Did you guys know that people thought I owned HomeSmart when we started it? They never heard of it before. But within months, we were a household name. And we were right up there with all the best of the best. So I've branded several companies and shot to the top. It was very hard for me to accept changing a company from 2007 all the way until 2015 that I worked so hard branding SCV Leasing. Everybody, and you guys still probably remember the name SCV Leasing in this room today. And I said, I have enough confidence in my branding ability to destroy that and start from scratch. New logo, new company, new everything. To this day, it's 2 short years, we're a household name again. I believe in my branding ability. That's the video that'll teach you how to do it. And then branding with Maxa, that platform that we just talked about, there's a whole hour-long video of Brooke from Maxa, who's awesome, teaching how to use that. So there's your 2 videos for that. Okay, another thing, just this alone in 2019 will completely double your production. There's no reason to not have a lender on your team. A lender is there for co-marketing, co-branding, bringing you business, you bringing them business, and you are working as a cohesive team. You guys work together all day, every day, open houses, door knocking, it doesn't matter what it is. And I'm not talking about having a team of buyer's agents right now. I'm talking about your support team around you, people that are in the industry that you rely on and they rely on you to be successful. Your lender is very powerful. Your title officer, right? Would you guys agree Gene does a lot of cool things for us with AG? It's actually our own separate MLS. He gives us listing presentations, he gives us apps. Our relationship with our title officers and our title people, for that matter, across the country are absolutely crucial. Could we have an escrow relationship, right? Do these people buy and sell houses? Do they know people that buy and sell houses? If you treat them really good and have a relationship with them, do you think they'd refer you business, right? Home warranty and NHC. These people help us all the time. They will pay for your food at open houses. They're allowed to do that. They have budgets for that. Their boss says, go buy Mike Bjorkman lunch today. So don't feel like you can't ask them for things. Well, I'm not a big enough agent. Well, guess how I got big? By utilizing my team, right? There was a time where I used to actually have Gene call every one of my listings before I got there. And he'd say, hey, this is Gene Bleeker from First American Title. I know you're meeting with Mike Bjorkman. Did you know he's one of the best marketing agents I've ever met? He does things that no other agents can or won't do. As a matter of fact, I'd love to stop by and you can ask me any questions about him if you want. I'd get there, third party, he'd say, yeah, your friend Gene called. He was really excited about you. I go, yeah, he's on my team. You know, we know that the agent makes a really big difference, and they'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. No other agent had that. So think about what they could do. Termite, inspectors, insurance, and many more. There's other people in our industry that can absolutely help us. Does that make sense, you guys? If you had people that are handing you leads, working with you, helping you with marketing, paying for some stuff, does that help? I think if you're really cool to them and you're really cool to them and build this team with money financially, because another really big thing is agents always say, I just don't have the money, I don't have the tools. I mean, I know First American Home Warranty, they have all these kind of cool door knockers, and they have letters that you could send to your past clients and your sphere of influence, and they actually just upload them into their system and it starts dripping on them for you. I mean, there's so much things that your team has. Okay. I always say this, get serious about your CRM. Now, this is what I wanted to say. Learn from my mistakes. Most people in this room know that our database is, to this day, a disaster. It's better than most, but it's still a disaster and we don't utilize it properly. At eXp, we have KV Core. If you don't know what KV Core is, it's a version of Conversion. The very most top producing agents across the country use Conversion. It builds landing pages, squeeze pages, websites, the most high-tech software possible that you see agents that are selling 200, 300, 400 homes a year, they're using this software. Most agents that are watching this or in there today have never had a chance to touch this software because it's so expensive that nobody will let them touch it. They're like, I ain't paying a couple grand a month for that. Hell no, I don't have a couple grand a month. And remember we talked about taking risks? A lot of agents won't take the risks. So agents like us, Team Bjorkman, that spend $10,000 a month on leads, we've taken the risk. We have 10,000 leads in the database now. So these things are very important. LionDesk, this is the other one that we're going to use, another CRM that we're going to start using, and I've been doing my due diligence on this for months. It is by far the most technologically advanced software for the money for real estate agents. So if you're not an eXp agent, I wouldn't highly suggest, I would only at this point suggest LionDesk. It's so user-friendly. It does all your management transactions, mass text, video text. I mean, it's crazy what it can do. The only other that I would recommend is Infusionsoft, and I think it starts at about 500 bucks a month. It does some amazing things, but you will probably go broke and go out of the business trying to learn it. Right, Deanna?
Yes.
So, if I shut my eyes, and actually somebody asked this to me, what is the biggest regret of your business? This is what I shoulda, woulda, coulda said, because every single person that I meet should be getting a video text from me once a week. Once a week. People in that phone right now that are not hearing from me. They need to hear from me. You ever heard out of sight, out of mind? Do we have good content that we could deliver to people? Even at eXp, there's consumer-facing content that's free. All we have to do is hit one button. Our faces, phone numbers, everything are already on it. You download it, share it on your Facebook, email it to your CRM. It's free, it's instant. We have the CRM, we have the marketing, and we're not doing it. So this, I believe, if we did it properly, would not double our production, but probably triple or quadruple our production. This is by far the #1 thing that I can possibly think of. So why wouldn't we? Just do it, right? You guys think that you can get your databases in order? If it took you a couple days to put every person you knew in a database and started once a month giving a market update, sending them a flyer about what's going on in their neighborhood, or maybe just a simple text saying, hey, it's Mike Bjorkman, You guys made my 2018 amazing. I want to make 2019 amazing for you. What can I do to help your business? What can I do to change lives in your arena? It's not about Mike Bjorkman and Team Bjorkman. I want to do something in 2019 to help you. I think that's the first video I'm going to send out this year. Cool? You guys like that? Mm-hmm. All right. Whew. All right. So I want you guys to pick 3 things, maybe 4, that you want to specialize in. What I know from watching people everywhere is they try to do a little bit of everything. I'm going to do an expired today, a FSBO tomorrow. I'm going to try to go to a chamber mixer tomorrow, and this and that and this. And now we have a list of 10 things because we want to try everything that there is. But here's what I learned early in the business. I, if you haven't heard, was a party boy in high school. Nobody trusted me to buy or sell a house. So I had to meet new people, prospect 2 hours a day or more, and I had to do things that were kind of back to basics. We've all heard for sale by owners, expireds, and open houses. Those were my specialties. It got to a point where I was so good at for sale by owners that the people, there's always a crew in town that do this thing. Like there's always the ambulance chasers, the bankruptcy attorney people, the community outreach people. There was about 4 or 5 really strong for sale by owner agents. I went to Daniel Penley's mentorship series. I learned for sale by owners. I did them all day, every day. I spent tons of time on it. I got so good at for sale by owners that I would take every single one in town, almost every single one I would list. I actually booted my competition out of the market to where they wouldn't even try anymore. Then I specialized in expired listings. There was only 1 or 2 agents in this town that had the you-know-whats to compete with me at expired listings. I got every expired listing, and that was just why? Because I specialized. I did everything perfectly. I did everything systematically. I had more than anybody other agent. So when I went to an expired, they'd be like, whoa, I haven't seen any of this stuff. FSBO, whoa, I haven't seen any of this stuff. And then open houses. Please remember open house part 1 and 2 training on our podcast and YouTube channel. There is not any better open house training. I've seen it all. There's nothing better. I've never met anybody that did open houses better than me and made more money doing them. I never did an open house without at least selling 1 house, ever, 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 ever while I did them. If you're gonna do them right. So I specialize in those 2 things. So you can do a lot of things. Your sphere of influence, your expireds, your FSBOs, REO, short sales. These are so good, you guys. Farming, door knocking, social media. Social media is definitely good. So, let's chat about mine real quick so I can give you some real world scenarios. First one, social media. I found out quickly in about the year 98, something like that, social media wasn't around, but community outreach was. And I found out that going to chamber mixers and charity events was amazing. And I go, wow, this is so cool. I get to go drink beer, eat, hang out with fun people, and get business. I'm like, this is cool. When social media came out, Facebook alone, within the very first day or the very first week of joining Facebook, I got a seller lead and a listing from it, from somebody I never would have talked to. So I started taking Facebook very seriously, and what happened for me was life-changing. Because would you guys agree that Facebook is a database? Mm-hmm. I already told you that I sucked at my database and CRM. But Facebook doesn't let me suck, right? The algorithms that keep you in front of people, they remind you of people's birthdays. Like, dude, what more could you ask for? Holy shit. Like, this is so easy. Why don't I do this? So I specialize it. And we can track about 50 to $500,000, 50 sales a year, $500,000 in production every year from Facebook leads. And I'm not even talking LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I'm talking purely Facebook. So if I can make $500,000 a year off Facebook alone, wouldn't you do it? Right? So this reason why I picked that one. The second one is community outreach. I already told you, community outreach is awesome. You go out and build relationships and have fun, build real relationships, because what happens is people, when you shake their hand and look at them in the eye, different things happen, right? You create a bond that's pretty unbreakable, and if you don't say stupid stuff, they usually forget about other real estate agents that they know, and they remember you. My business doubled overnight when my wife forced me to start going to community outreach events. I was a cocky 25-year-old millionaire, and I said, remember what I said about prospect? I make the phone ring, I don't need that, and I don't want to deal with all the snobby no-do duties, and besides about a million real estate agents do it anyways. But when I started doing it, my wife was pregnant with my youngest son, So we couldn't go anywhere, do anything. I like to travel, go to Cabo and stuff all the time, but we couldn't do that anymore. So she was Ambassador of the Year from the Chamber, dragged me to all those community outreach things. My business doubled. From then till now, all of our business between Facebook and social media comes together, and I use social media to nurture and maintain the relationships that I meet from community outreach. Does that make sense? Sounds pretty fun, right? Have you noticed something? I'm working smarter, not harder. Does this stuff sound a hell of a lot better than open houses and door knocking? It is. And this is the reason why I do it. And this is the reason why I can be home every night for dinner and take weekends off. Cool, huh? Well, I shouldn't say take weekends off. There's a lot of Saturday nights I'm in a suit when I don't want to be, but it's still better than door knocking or doing it hungover at an open house. Property management is my number 3, right? Property management, I agree, not everybody can do. At EXP, we're not allowed to. If you have a broker's license, you can do it separately. Property management for me is another built-in database that I can't screw up because I have to do these people's accounting and we have to talk to them all the time. But what I did do is I figured out that working smarter, not harder again, is each person in that database pays me every month to be in that database. A little different, right? How many agents can say to this day that they have a database of all these Sphere and past clients and all these people that pay them? When you call somebody in your database, hey, Mr. Smith, it's Mike Bjorkman. I know I haven't called you in a while. I'm just checking in. Hey, Mike, yeah, I'm at work, dude. I'm really busy. Trust me, if I'm ever going to sell my house, I'll call you. Just da-da-da-da-da. Okay, Merry Christmas. No, when you manage the property, you call, they're like, dude, what's up, Bjorkman? How's it going, man? How's my house? Everything cool? Nothing burnt down? Okay, whew. How's your kids? How's your family? Oh, by the way, the check I just got you, it's in the mail, a couple $100 coming to you. Thanks, Mr. Smith. Right, totally different. You guys get that? By the way, 10 to 20% have done properly, want to sell or buy, to convert tenants, all that kind of stuff. So if we focus on just these 3 things, just those 3 things, we'll double our production next year. You hear that, Team B? Okay. Let's see what this one is. Oh, staying motivated. We talked in the beginning about how we get beat down to death in this business. Staying motivated is crucial. An event every 90 days. You guys mostly know, every 90 days I'm on an airplane, going to see people, staying motivated. Being around like-minded, successful people keeps you motivated. If you go away for 3 days, spend $3,000 doing it, completely check out, and if you learn something for 30 seconds, somebody that you met at a bar or in a lobby or in a hotel lobby, a hotel conference room, or a speaker actually said something that can change your life, is it worth going? Yes. If you sell 1 house every quarter because of that event, is it worth it? Yes. I remember things vividly in my mind that I learned from people I met at these things that motivated me and changed my career forever. 1 book a month. If you go on Facebook and just type in books, and this, again, Marcy, engaging things. Did you do that? Yeah?
What?
Book? What book should I read? I just thought of, okay, this is your next one, do this today. So every time somebody says, hey, I want to learn the next self-help for business book, hundreds of comments. But this time, write them all down, buy them all, download them into your phone or whatever you enjoy, and try to get through a book a month. They're everywhere and they're so good and they're so motivating. Books to me, I can only listen to because I can't read, but when I listen to them, I'm motivated. I'm like, yes, that's awesome. I mean, I was reading or listening to a book last night, and the guy, and I've heard this before, but it never hit me until yesterday. And the guy said, success does not equal happiness. And I thought about that, and I'm like, you're right. He says happiness equals success. And I've heard that, and it never hit me until yesterday. And I was like, holy crap. That is cool. That is going to motivate me for a long time because it's definitely inside of me now and I'm thinking about it all the time. The book I read last week, what was it? Does anybody remember what I said? Oh, it wasn't even a book, but it was an event that I went to. John Chuckleck, he said, question what I say by testing it. Right? So I'm not questioning anything anybody says anymore until I test it. So just little things like that. If you got quotes from books, is that worth it once a month? Follow these 2 podcasts. We talked about that in the beginning. Join a network group. Just try to be around people. Don't isolate yourself. There's a lot of agents that isolate themselves and they just end up grumpy and mean and just try to be around people. Join network groups of like-minded people that you can actually work with. Network groups, especially for us in EXP, we get to know other agents, we get to learn from them, we get to recruit them, all these different cool things with network groups. Stay motivated. 20 minutes a day in those Facebook groups. I can get sucked in for 3 hours to those things, but that's not the way I want to do my business. So at least 20 minutes a day. If you scroll through a Lab Coat Agent feed for 20 minutes, you're going to learn things that you just could never imagine possible. 20 minutes, that's all it takes. Role play partners. Larry, you're sitting in front of me. Jessica, again, Jessica, has role playing in the last 48 hours changed you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just little bits of role playing, right? So my tip for role playing is keep a role play partner and change it every 30 days. Don't get sick of, or yeah, you're gonna get sick of your role play partner. Because here's what happens. Larry only has a certain amount of scripts, Jessica only has a certain amount of scripts, I learned those scripts, and now we're just talking about dogs, kids, what'd you get your wife for Christmas? No, change it. Call me every 30 days. Do you guys think I like training by now? Mm-hmm. I want you to be involved in my life. I want to be successful, or I want to be 100% responsible for your success. When you make money, I make money. I want to see your kids go to college. I want to see your cars paid off. I want to see your rental property when you buy it. I'm here because we learn and feed off each other, so I want to talk to you at least every 30 days. And if you're watching this on the YouTube and I don't know you, I still want to talk to you. I still want you to call me every 30 days because that's the kind of stuff that keeps us motivated. If we talk to negative, not like-minded people, and we don't do all this stuff, pretty soon we get beat down by life so hard. Has anybody in the room felt like they got beat down by not doing things like this? A little be honest, everybody's shaking their head. Okay, one webinar a week, and I always like to talk about webinars because what are webinars eventually supposed to do to you? Sell you something, yes. It's okay to be sold because we're salespeople. We need to learn what makes us sold. So if they're trying to sell us something, especially in real estate, right? Do we all get the emails, watch our webinar coming up today? Well, if somebody's doing a webinar, do you think they're smarter than you at that? Yes. If they've created a system that makes them lots of money, do you think you should buy it? Yes, absolutely. Because if it works, you need to do it. There's no other thing you can say to me. And if they say, oh, they're just trying to sell me, yeah, see if they can sell you. And if they can, why don't you use that same technique? Makes sense, right? Webinars are awesome. And I always like to say, even if you don't want to watch it and you can't watch it at the time, still register for it because they'll send you a replay more than not. So then you could do that for your hour a day of skill set the next time. Cool? Motivated? Okay, now I want to talk about this body means love. This is our health, right? And I look back over all my years and I've been Greek god and I've been fat slob and I've been everywhere in the middle like I might be in today. But what I know is we need to give energy to receive it. We already talked about that. We need to keep our heart moving. Is our heart a muscle? Right? Have you ever gone to Mammoth or somewhere up in the mountains, you get out of the car and you're just like, holy crap, what happened? That's your heart going, oh, your oxygen level's down. You need to work that muscle. Does anybody in this room ever know anybody to have a heart attack? Right? Everybody. We can't be having heart attacks. We're the #2 most stressed out occupation. We cannot have heart attacks. We need to work that cardio. And there's people out there that'll tell you guys, just eat right and just walk. No, bullshit. Get your heart pumping. It's a muscle. It needs to be worked out and exercised. Don't listen to that crap. Cancer. We all know somebody. Has anybody known somebody in cancer here, right? Our own team, people in this room have had cancer. We can't have cancer and double our production in 2019. There's a lot of tips and tricks that you can learn to help you avoid cancer. We've come so far, not only with technology, but with Eastern and Western medicine, that we know keep our body's alkaline level really high, you know, eat organic. There's a lot of things that we know from very, very serious research, things that can help us avoid cancer. I'm sure Charlene can help us with that by working at the hospital. Muscles and joints. I'm 40, oh my God, I'm gonna be 46 in a couple days. When I get out of bed, I'm like, you know, it takes like a transformer. I mean, we need to keep these things moving, right? We need to stretch. We need to do a lot of different things. Getting in and out of our cars, I already threw my back out a couple weeks ago. We need to keep our muscles and joints working hard, so we need to lift weights. We need to do a lot of stuff like that. Our brain clarity, and again, it could be an age thing, but my brain sometimes, have you ever noticed you're doing something and all of a sudden your brain just stops and you forget about it? Hey, what's happening?
I invited Johnny.
Oh, hi Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay, man, have a seat. We're recording. Watch out for the camera. And then grab another chair over here. Would you somebody?
No.
All right. So our brain clarity is super crucial. If we're not clear in our minds, if we have junk in our minds, and if we're putting poison in our body, our brains are completely using all that stuff for fuel. You guys know it. When you eat like crap, you know you feel like crap. Would you admit that? Your body reacts to everything that you put in your body, and that's exactly right. I'll give you a good example. Yesterday they brought that same food. I had 3 cookies, I had 4 sandwiches because I went to the gym. I was like starving. I was like, all day yesterday until this morning I felt like absolute crap. The 3 days prior I've been eating like gold. I've been eating healthy, no bread, no sugar, and I've been feeling amazing, like $1,000,000. I've been on top of the world. One day completely destroyed me. Supplements, we all know, and if you don't know, you should know, we have destroyed most of this earth's soil. We do not have the nutrients in our soil to provide our bodies with the nutrients it needs. We have to have supplements. We have to go elsewhere to where there's people that actually do the right things to the soil and they utilize the soil properly, so we do get the nutrients and vitamins and minerals that we need. But if we can't always get that, we have to supplement our body with that. If you ever had a live blood scan, if you haven't, you should go do it and have the doctor tell you which your blood is missing. Is it missing vitamin D? Is it missing this? Is it missing that? And that's just because our bodies don't have the right fuel and the right energy and all that good stuff. So take this very seriously. On the YouTube channel, we had a health series before. We have personal trainer, Shakaya, talking about mindset, talking about exercise and how to keep your body and your mind in tune with it. Cancer avoiding secrets there. Bernard Cash owns Viva Vitamins, very high quality vitamin. Been my friend forever. He was one of the best real estate agents I ever met that got into that business. He talks to us about why supplements are so important. And then my brother-in-law, Scott Taylor, talked about how he healthily lost almost 100 pounds in 6 months by doing it the right way, without any starvation, without any of this, and brought his body and his live blood scans from complete trash where the doctor said he was gonna die to where he started running marathons plus, right? So that's a big deal. If nothing else, watch those videos and they'll help launch you into a different mindset for learning how to take care of yourself. Prospecting too. My favorite part about this is when I do be around healthy people and when I do go to the gym, I meet people, and typically about 200 grand a year in commissions I pull out of the gym. We did it last year, right, Tammy? Mm-hmm. The year before, and the years before that at different gyms. It doesn't matter. I've always pulled a whole hell of a lot of money out of the gym because we spend so much time with the same people all the time. It really works. Any questions? Perfect. Food. We talked a little bit about food. We're not stupid. We've all been educated. Organic, probably. All right. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Oh, video. Video. So we all know we're in a video revolution. We have to be. So with our social media, we've heard it, most of us have heard it a lot, but I still don't see everybody doing it. We're trying, but we need to get better at video. Every time you put a video on Facebook up or anywhere else, it gives you a lot of juice. Your Facebook loves video. But not only does Facebook love video, but Facebook loves video because people love video. The engagement rate goes sky high, way sky high. We have a team member that did a video, 24 hours ago about Christmas and all the presents that EXP has brought her. So last night she texted me and said, oh, I got 4,000 views. I'm like, holy crap. This morning, over 15,000 views. One video that was 1 minute long. How many of you in this room can say you had 15,000 people look at you yesterday? That's pretty powerful, right? Delivered good content. It was a little silly, but I'm going to remember this video all day. So if you did that consistently, you're not out of sight, out of mind anymore, right? If you posted a little picture and it said, rates are going up, or a video explaining how rates going up can affect your buying power, which one's more powerful? Mm-hmm. So if you can deliver good, valuable, free content to people that they already want to see, why aren't we doing it, right? I mean, Tammy and I have been doing video for a long time, and you can ask her in private. And I mean, we can ask her now, does video make a difference for us?
Absolutely.
Like, we have our own TV show. I shouldn't say we don't like doing it, it's a pain in the ass. We're very busy people. We make time for it because we know it's valuable. We get in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people a week. So if we're going to have enough video and content, we're going to do it. Matter of fact, on our podcast, there's video. And I spend thousands of dollars a month on 3 different podcasts because I know it works. Training agents, training the public, training our sphere, our past clients. So you guys, if you added up all the views on our YouTube channel, I think there's over 500 videos on that. There's literally a million people that have seen us at one time or another. I've actually gotten listings from our YouTube channel. Why did you call us? Oh, well, I was calling about the 1031. I always say that because I did this one video on 1031 exchange, and I'm pretty sure we've gotten over 20 listings from it. And it's old, we should probably redo it. But it keeps happening, it keeps happening. New construction, I've sold new construction to people after they saw my new construction video. So video is very important. All right, last thing we're gonna talk about is our Facebook. The thing I like to talk about Facebook is not only can we track $500,000 in commission, but it is the easiest. And I want to, first of all, I want to point out on our YouTube channel and our podcast, there's Theory of Social Media Part 1 and 2. There's a lot of Facebook training on our Start Social Media training. There's a lot of good Facebook training on there, but I just want to go over some very simple, basic things that you guys need to remember. You want to find as many qualified friends as possible. If you don't have 5,000 friends, we want to get there as fast as possible without getting in trouble. We want them to be qualified people though. I think it's in there. Qualified people and quality people mean they can afford to buy and sell homes. You don't want somebody in Nebraska that you met at a diner that you'll never see again. They were cool for a minute and now you're never, that's not a valuable quality friend. So be careful who you choose as friends. It's better than a chamber mixer. I told you I like community outreach. I can go to a chamber mixer and shake hands with 15 people a night. That's good. But I can literally reach thousands of people on Facebook. I prove this all the time. Most of you know I've been in the Caribbean for 9 days last week. Every single person I've talked to since I've been back, the very first thing they said was, your trip looked amazing. How was your trip? So I know people are watching. And it's not somebody that I remember liking or commenting on anything. It's the voyeurs and the stalkers. Those are the best. Like I run into people that I haven't seen in years and they're just like, oh, I love keeping up with you, da 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 da. I'm like, that is important because if these thousands of people aren't seeing me, then hundreds of people a year aren't gonna sell with us. We're out of sight, out of mind. There's things that I do on my Facebook that will prevent them from calling their cousin or their neighbor that lives 6 doors down, because I've let them into my life. Does that make sense? Private versus public. Now, people like to say, well, I don't want people seeing my private life. Fine, that's okay. Because if you have that attitude, and if you don't treat it as a business, you officially cannot afford to do the things that you'd want to put on Facebook, right? Now you're the secret agent. A lot of guys go, well, I have a lot of college friends that get a little bad, or all this stuff. I go, good, fine. You keep your Facebook the way it is, and I will play full out with mine and make $500,000 a year. So $500,000 a year, sitting around in my underwear, goofing off, is pretty cool, and I'll admit that. So it's a business decision you have to make. Am I gonna be super private, or am I gonna be available to my customers in my sphere? Perception's everything. We talk about, who's brand new? Marcy, you're brand new in the business, right? So let's say you took a Team Bjorkman listing once a week and put it on your Facebook in between your other really cool, engaging things. After a 30, 60, 90-day period, do you believe that people would think, wow, Marcy's doing really good. She's posting a listing every week, right? So that builds trust, would you agree?
Yeah.
So maybe 6 months from now, your sphere will say, Marcy's been posting a new listing every freaking week. She's working with Team Bjorkman. She's doing amazing things. I'm gonna now call her. Right? You build trust. So perception's everything. Now, if you did just purely Trump bashing all day long on your Facebook, what are people going to think? You're just a Trump basher, right? That's it. That's all you are. And they're going to block you, delete you, talk crap about you to other people. And is that the perception that we want people to think of us? Now, I personally know really nice, cool people that all they do is bash politicians. But when you meet them in person, they don't really do that. They don't, it doesn't even come up, they're just normal, cool people. But people hide behind keyboards, would you agree? And that's how they express themselves, because they don't have the you-know-whats to do it in public and face-to-face with people. So now, I'm like blocking and deleting people that I think are actually really cool. because I have this new perception of them being jerks. So we can't do that. Job interview daily. I don't know about you guys. Doesn't matter who it is. If they come to me for a job, if they come to me to be a friend or a vendor, what's the first thing I do? Facebook and Google them, right? So if you look like a tool on your Facebook, or anywhere else for that matter, are people gonna list with you? No. So we have to have the see-through bathing suits off, we have to have the 16 shots of tequila off. Perception's everything, right? We can't have that. We have to have a very nice mixture of professional and lifestyle and family and friends on your Facebook. Because if that's how they're gonna interview, and I'm not even exaggerating, I've gone to people's houses and they say, where do I sign? And I said, do you want to see the marketing? No, I see it on Facebook every day. Do you want to know anything about me? No, I know all about you. I love your lifestyle. I love everything you do. I love how you help dogs. I love how you help charity. I love everything you do. Now, Andy, am I very strategic?
Very.
Very. This poor kid has grown up his whole life going, Dad, Facebook, Dad, smile. Now, just recently, maybe this summer, Andy is actually drawing Team Bjorkman in the sand at the beach with the drone videoing it. Now, I remember the first time we did that when he was about 10 years old in Costa Rica. I had them laying down, it said Team Bjorkman in the sand, I'm taking pictures and posting it. 10 years later, he's doing it himself. And it works, right? It's social media. So we're very strategic on how we post. Is it still fun to draw Team Bjorkman in the sand? Yeah. Was it a family bonding experience? It was fun, the dogs running around. It's all good. It's all good. But we also want to advertise, talk a little bit about our lifestyle, share our personalities, and build and maintain relationships. That's what people want to see. If I can't shake their hand every day, and if I'm not practicing my 7 Fs, can I still keep in touch with people online? It's a big deal. All right, connect with them how they desire. It's super simple. Andy and I, dude only Snapchats me. If I didn't have Andy, I would delete Snapchat, I swear to God. But I keep it, and I keep it on my front screen because that's the only way he communicates with me, right? Who else is in here? There's a lot of my friends only communicate with me through Instagram. I'm starting to love Instagram, but I used to hate it. I prefer Facebook. But there are people like that I meet all the time go, hey, hook up with me on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll pull up my LinkedIn app and it'll like 432 red things come up. I'm like, I should probably check that a little bit more. But that's how they want to connect, so I have to do it. Life events, this is crucial. If you notice people posting, they're all life events. Little Billy broke his arm, just got married, went on a honeymoon, I got my doctorate degree, it's my birthday. These are things that are important to people. I like and I laugh because I look at people and I say, dude, that person hasn't posted anything in 3 months. But what did they post? They posted it's their anniversary. That must be really important to them. This is a great time for me as a salesperson and as a relationship builder to reach out to that person and say, dude, happy anniversary. Because a lot of people might get liked, but when you reach out, even better, private message, right? Hey, I saw your promotion that you posted. I just want to let you know, if I was your boss, I would have given you that a long time ago. You're an absolute amazing community, outstanding member, and I respect you, and I just think you're a cool person. Click, send. That's it, right? Life events. If I get that, I really like that. I was on my cruise last week. I haven't talked to this guy in years. I'm sitting there with very limited internet. But I go, I wonder how that guy's doing. I just said, hey dude, I haven't seen you in a long time. I just want to let you know, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and really hope to run into you somewhere. The guy replies and says, man, Mike, I haven't heard from you in so long. I can't believe you actually took the time to reach out to me. I've noticed your day. That was cool. What do? I'm sitting at this bar overlooking, I was in Cozumel, overlooking this beautiful water, and I just did a video. I said, hey, that was really cool message. That made me feel good. I'm gonna do a birthday video. I sung a little birthday, I flipped it around, I had a margarita, and the water was beautiful blue. And then he just went, wow, like that afterwards. Totally touched somebody. That guy's probably gonna call me when it comes time to selling his house. I can probably guarantee it. All right. Okay, Mike's rule of 4, we kind of talk know, like, and trust. How do they get to know you? Lifestyle. Kids, dogs, spouse, vacations. How do they get to like you? Community outreach, right? Oh, he does do charity. Oh, he does try to get rid of puppies. Oh, he does cool things. Oh, he does roll up his sleeves and get dirty. Cool, now they like you. Trust, we talked about that, right, Marcy? Listings? If they see you doing what you say you're doing, then they start trusting you as a real estate agent, right? Let's not do the under contract post, but let's tell stories about our business, and then nothing negative. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care about anything. There's one exception. If somebody that you know is close to you that passed away, that's okay to pay respect to that person and publicly announce that you're very sad. That is the one time. Death isn't always a negative thing, right? So it could be a positive, and that's the one exception I would say that it's okay to post. Sex, politics, religion, it's never okay to talk about. Ever, 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 ever. There's people that get more offended than you will ever know about those things. And when your grandma told you around the Thanksgiving dinner table, don't talk about those things, she's the smartest person you ever met, right? Okay. Connect with your community. People are always around you doing cool things in the community, getting promotions, all kinds of stuff. People say, where do I find this? There's magazines everywhere. They're all over the place. Handwritten card to somebody who just got a promotion or opened up their new business. How awesome is that? Congratulations. No business card, just a nice note saying you respect what they're doing, and how cool is that? No business card, handwritten, and send it off, right? You then have the right to friend request them, have the right to ask them a question. You're building a relationship. A little Santa Clarita magazine back in the day, when it first came out, I would sit there whenever it came out and I would just circle, dog ear, and I would take my Team Bjorkman cards and I would spend hours just writing little notes. And holy crap, the amount of traction I got from that and the response was amazing. As I say this right now, I'm going, I am so stupid for not doing that all the time right now. And then what I just think in my head, I'm too busy. We already talked about that. I'm looking at Tammy, she's like, yeah, you're not too busy. That's a good idea, stupid. But do you like that idea? Like, could that make a difference in your career for 2019? Yeah, I think so too. All right, birthdays, I don't want to spend a lot of time with them, but there's a couple of reasons they're so important. Number one, I already told you, people feel good on their birthday. Like, what's the date today, the 20th? My birthday's on the 24th. Nobody ever remembers my birthday. Nobody cares about my birthday. As a matter of fact, my friends this morning said nobody cares about your birthday. And I'm like, already excited to have nobody give a shit about my birthday. So imagine somebody who actually has a birthday on a normal day that gets all this attention. So you have to acknowledge people's birthday. I do it first thing every day. I get up early and I do a video message to them. Hey, it's Mike, happy birthday. People love it. They always say you're the first person to wish me happy birthday, and you were the only person, when they reach out at the end of it, you were the only person that did a video. It says nothing about business. It's not public. It's just a private video. People freaking love it. I start conversations that go on for days like that, and you can take my phone right now and look at them. They're all there. Video, birthday message, private versus public. Don't do it publicly anymore. Back in the day, it was funny and cool. Now you just look like a dirtbag realtor trying to get business. Birthday reminders. Facebook's so cool, it does birthday reminders. And if it doesn't, if you don't like it, you should do it yourself. Because how cool would it be to send a handwritten birthday card and have them get it the day of or the day before their birthday and a video message? Are you going to stand out a little bit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Use birthdays to weed out friends. Now, I think Jessica, again, you're the most famous person in this video, Jessica. This morning, as I was coaching Jessica, I was multitasking. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But I was actually deleting people because I can only have 5,000 friends. I get 20, 30 requests a day, and some of them I want to accept. But I can't because it's maxed out. So on their birthday, I look at them and say, are you relevant in my life? Are you damaging in my life in any way? Do you have enough clout to be in my world? You know, as crappy as that just sounded. But really, I go, no, you're useless to me. I love you, but bye. And delete. Because if you ever had the time to sit down and go through thousands of people and go, who's that? Delete. No, nobody will do it. Nobody will ever do that. So I keep my Facebook up to date by every single day, every day, deleting people. Delete 3 a day, I accept 3 a day. So my Facebook is always this beautiful masterpiece of perfect people that are in my life. I deleted a guy this morning. I'm like, I hate to delete this guy. I met him on vacation a long time ago. He's on the East Coast, not in real estate. I just like, nice knowing you, buddy, delete. Never talk to him again as long as I live. But the person I'm going to replace him with is going to buy, sell, rent, invest, or become an EXP agent. So obviously I have to make room for him. All right, I think we're gonna end with this. You guys look exhausted. Social calendar. If you only did this in 2019, this will double your production. Every single day, go through your feed 2 or 3 times a day. Pick out, Larry got a promotion, quit Princess Cruises, started working at Team Bjorkman. Very powerful. Lisa just picked up her son from the airport from college. Jessica, your son just turned 3? 2. Damn, I suck. Marcy, you've been in the business 3 months now, right? You got your first listing today, let's say. Kat, you just got your past your real estate license. Everybody create a calendar today that's called social. You put in there, little Billy broke his arm. 7 days later, you reach out to that mom and say, hey, I was driving in your neighborhood today and I thought of you and little Billy's arm. How's it doing? Has any other person reached out to see how little Billy's arm is doing? Mm-mm. If you went on a honeymoon, and you went to Bermuda, 2 weeks later, it's in my calendar, just call John. Hey John, I know you've just been back a week, I noticed you went to Bermuda. I've always wanted to go there. How was it? Is it something I should put on my bucket list? People that spend $10,000 on vacations like to talk about them. They will say, holy crap, dude, Bermuda is beautiful. I stayed at this 5-star resort, da 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 da. Oh, that's fantastic. And conversations start. Somebody gets a promotion. Congratulations. Everything you need to schedule, even if it's a year later, a birthday, an anniversary, or somebody bought a house. How many times have you looked at your Facebook and another agent sold one of your friends a house and they said, yeah, congratulations, holding the sold sign that should be yours, right? Year later. Put that in your calendar. Hey, I know it's your year anniversary on your home. Congratulations. I hope you still enjoy your home. Mike, right? Why? Why not? That's a really good idea, right? No, their agent's not doing that. You're doing that. Meanwhile, they have a whole year watching how many homes you've listed and sold. And now, mentally, you might have picked them up, right? So keep your social calendar full. And when you wonder who to call, these are the people you're calling. Now, as a coach, I've been through a lot of training. People say, Mike, private messages are not contacts. I call BS. If you private message 50 people a day, as a coach, I will accept that as a contact if they reply. If they don't reply, they hate you and probably deleted you. But if they replied and at least said thank you, I call it a contact. Only other way is in person or on the phone. But this is powerful. This is really a big deal. How many private messages do you guys get a day on Facebook on average? Give me numbers.
Like 3, 5.
Right. How many text messages do you get a day?
3.
How many emails a day?
600.
Which ones are more memorable?
Private messages.
Interesting, huh? Do you guys think that some of the stuff we talked about today could double your production in 2019?
Yes.
Does that mindset alone, do you think, can double your production in 2019?
Yes.
Having talks with your families and doing the 7 F's, getting balance in your life to create happiness and harmony in your own home, do you think that could double your production?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about picking 3 things and really specializing in them? Yeah? How about taking a different attitude about prospecting? If I don't do this, I really could die. How about the difference between follow-up and prospecting? There's a lot of things we talked about in there that could absolutely double our production. Team Bjorkman, if we took all of our databases and the thousands of people that we have in our database and called them all the time, do you think we could actually double our business next year?
Yes.
If we all did video and brought good, free, valuable content to our sphere of influence, past clients and future clients, do you think we could possibly double our income? If we practiced our listing presentation and scripts and dialogues and presented better than anybody else out there, do you think we'd win more listings and buyer presentations? It's not hard to double your production when you look at it, right? Give yourselves a hand for sitting through that. It was so long. All right, let's do this, guys.